Welcome to Short Circuits, an ongoing YouTube series about Transformers cartoons from the past and present. And it's time for something a little bit newer this time. It's Transformers Earthspark.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Did you enjoy this one, Jason?
I did, yes.
Oh.
Very much. Another new one for me.
I was going to say,
yeah.
This is your first time ever with this cartoon, isn't it? You've not seen
ever.
Any of it.
When was this released? 2020?
It's out now. We've just had the second season now.
So first season was what, 2020, I guess? I don't know.
Well, no, the first season
like last year.
4 years ago.
Oh, right.
No.
Wow.
Oh, no. This time thing for me is really hard.
It was last year.
Was it last year? Okay, good. Right, I'm not
That's
that
how
far
TV
behind
shows work, man.
animation takes a long time from what I remember.
You're doing a YouTube show about TV shows, you know?
Season, not leap years.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
they're getting around to season 3 in 2028, don't you know? It's going to be great.
Big
Yeah,
gaps.
why not?
You know, keeping us hooked.
You know how toy lines work. The kids will all be grown up by that point and moved on.
Yeah, that's it. Well, what's our excuse?
That's very true. Yeah, who are we to talk?
I've got no excuse for missing this one, and technically I've not. I'm only a year behind, so that's all right.
Can you remember what you're up to last year?
No idea. No, I'm on a motorbike, zooming around somewhere in
It's
Scotland.
not in a journal.
I need to check.
But you're enjoying it now, is the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited about this one and diving in.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. And Liam, you're a fan, I believe?
Yeah, I love the show. It's been pretty fun. It's been interesting revisiting it after all this time. I've been seeing season 2 now, or what we're up to in season 2.
I've not seen
Go back
any
to
of
the
season 2 yet. So I've seen season 1 in its entirety, but not season 2 yet. But I really enjoyed this rewatch. I really enjoyed going back to it because I gotta be honest, I love this cartoon. I think it's so good.
It's the main note. You know me and my notes, but it was it's got a lot of heart, doesn't it? I was getting quite teary throughout this first episode.
My God, I was watching it today, and all the way through, I kept thinking of you and thinking, I bet J-Swags is tearing up at this.
Honestly, it's the family. Anything to do with family and the little kids, and we got Thrash and Twitch. Is that their names? I got them right.
That's the names?
Yeah. Oh, it was so lovely. I was getting all the feels. And friends.
Yeah.
Friends.
I'm scared of the day that Jason discovers Little House on the Prairie and stuff like that.
This is Jason's ideal life, honestly, this cartoon. This is how I see it.
But she's running down a hill. It's so delightful.
It's so lovely.
See, my note, and I had a note here, my note was, this has got to be a J-Swags winner.
Yeah, 100%. They nailed this, really lovely sentiment right from the beginning. Because it's it's the classic one, isn't it? The middle of nowhere, and it's boring, and nothing's going on, and then suddenly there's a glowy cave.
Yeah.
It's like Final Fantasy, isn't it? Or it's like a Zelda cave. You know the fairy caves you used to get. You find you bottle the fairy to power yourself back up.
Is that a computer game?
It's definitely a computer game. It's like some kind of magic MacGuffin cave with a crystal that looks like a whambar. And I look at it again. I want to lick it. It just looks like a really tasty sweet.
Yeah, all the fizzle on your tongue.
You want to lick everything, mate. Honestly, what don't you want to lick?
Yeah,
well,
warning.
That's how you discover the tactility of the world, Sixo.
I must be doing it
by
wrong.
licking everything.
Yeah.
Sense explosion.
Do you know if you'd done that in Earthspark, think where the attachment would have been to connect you with Twitch, or it'd be stuck on your tongue instead of on your hand.
We're kind of getting into a weird area here.
Sorry.
So,
odd.
Yeah, we're going to move
on.
on.
It's the taste buttons.
We're definitely going to move on, yeah. But no, to me, the cave and all of that, it's funny because I think you're right. This cartoon is very new and it's very modern in a lot of its styling, but it's got a kind of 80s vibe to it as well. Yeah. And all of the cave
it's
and that.
The soundtrack, isn't it?
The soundtrack is synth central.
Yeah.
It's very Stranger Things meets The Weeknd.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's perfect.
But all the cave stuff kind of has an almost Spielberg vibe about it somehow as well.
The Goonies or that sort of thing, isn't it? It's
exactly.
Very much like the 80s sort of kids movie, that very stereotype, typical kind of movie from the time where it's always like a group of kids going off, discovering something exciting, a bit of adventure, and the time before mobile phones. It's very much along that line.
Yeah, it's the old school adventure in nowhere town. That's where it fits with your Close Encounters, your Goonies, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It also had one of the best acronyms I've ever heard in my life, TFBFF, Transformers Best Friends Forever.
I mean, that's you in a nutshell, isn't it? That's your...
I'm going to get on a t-shirt just to walk around TFN. I love that.
That's your whole approach to toy collecting.
It really was. It was so cute.
You're not worried people would misread it as Tuff Buff.
Tough buff.
I'm a bit tough buff.
I'm a tough buff. I'm buff and I'm tough.
I do have a question, though, as well. Who is the guy getting his arm taken off?
Mandroid.
It's like Mandrake, is it? But it's like instead of Mandrake the magician, it's Mandroid the technician.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, very
I gotta
nice.
tell you, though, I don't know how handy it was that he removed his arm and replaced it with a giant... there we go. Handy. Yeah, I walked into that one, didn't I?
Did he chop his arm off? Is this what's happening? Has he
Or is it
replaced his arm?
inside?
Or has the robot arm gone, is it like a giant glove?
I have questions.
Think of the rubbing underneath that armpit as well. That's
it would
just...
chafe.
It would chafe a lot, wouldn't it?
And he'd have to carry WD-40 around everywhere he goes to stop it squeaking every now and then, because that would be dead annoying. Like when you get an itch you can't reach. Imagine having a squeak you can't de-squeak.
De-squeak, Bit of baby oil to keep it shiny. That's what he needs,
Again, we're kind of getting into a weird area here with the baby oil and the hand thing, so I'm going to move swiftly on maybe. But
as a baddie goes, don't know much about him yet, but he had Scooby-Doo vibes for me, that guy. His kind of big arched eyebrows, experimenting on robots, pulling arms off and replacing them on himself.
Yeah.
But I was a bit confused. Twitch and Thrash were introduced as kind of Autobots, but then was there a hint that they are Decepticons? But then they're Terrans,
Well, they're obviously good bots.
Good girls.
Yeah, good guys and girls. They're Terrans.
Which is a whole new thing.
Yeah, as we're going to find out about. That's all to be discovered at this
Teenage
point.
Mutant Ninja Terrans.
Oh, those guys. All right, crossover. Nice.
Yeah, it's a mystery, Jason. All's going to be... You see, the way TV works is that they've given you some story beats. They've not explained everything fully yet, but you're going to find out more information in the next episode.
Not in 4 years' time.
Not in 4 years' time. You won't have to wait 4 years.
Yeah,
that's why Sixo always says, but more on that later.
Exactly that.
Storytelling beats of Hollywood.
Well, it's working. Lovely moment as well where they get given comics to find out about themselves.
I know,
so that
right?
whole what is it as well with these cartoons that we've been watching where they all have a G1 flashback, which I'm loving.
This is it. And I do love the way that Earthspark does it, actually, because it's almost like this could sort of be a sequel to G1 if you really wanted it to be, but it's also not really. Yeah. And I like the vibe of it. I think it works super well.
Yeah, I think it was feeding into me as a dad, someone who's grown up with Transformers, who loves Bumblebee and is aware of all this, and then telling his kid about it, and then it's like, I'm in a cartoon now. This is even better. It's like
but Alex Molto, we've got an Alex Molto superfan on this podcast, I think, don't we?
do. He's my guy in this show. I love that guy. He gets the coolest outfits. He's just a cool looking dad. He's got vibes. He's just a cool dude. You're like, I'd like to go to the pub with that guy. I'd share a burrito with him. He's a big fan of burritos.
You just wait, Jason. There's more to come on Alex Molto, but
really?
The outfits go up a notch. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
You'll see in a future episode.
It was just brilliant. The characterization, it really got into it very quickly, to the point where when I was watching it, I was like, am I watching the first episode here? Even right at the very beginning, it didn't muck around.
No.
I got to point out as well, Alita 1's Heelys that she had.
How cool is that?
Such a cool. Why has no one done that before? That was absolute genius bit of animation and idea.
And I'm all here for the hip doors. Her doors are on her hips. And that's not
cool.
normally a transformation feature you sort of see on anything. I was like, that's cool, look. I'm here for the hip doors, man.
But no, I loved all that sequence with Alita as well. And actually, when I first saw this cartoon, that was one of my real favourite bits, was what an absolute badass Alita 1 is.
Oh, amazing.
I feel like we're in a real... kind of Alita 1 renaissance right at the moment, like between this and War for Cybertron and Transformers 1, which is out soon, but we may have seen. There's a lot of... And Skybound, actually, you're right. There's a lot of Alita 1.
She's a core character now.
Yeah, and she's great.
She's replaced Arsene, I think, as the standard core female bot. It's not Optimus Prime, but the kind of almost the female equivalent of him. But she feels like she's on par with the Prime, or that kind of top level of Autobot.
But I like that she's sort of got this like real warrior vibe to her as well. I think that's super cool. They establish her really nicely very quickly in this.
Yeah, I really liked it. And that's why I was saying about like when it kicks off and it's just straight into them doing the trap on the two. Is it Swindle and... who else is it?
Hard Top,
yeah. And then they just rattle through the whole lore, history, what's happened, all that kind of stuff. Not mucking around in that. It's like a 20-minute episode, isn't it? And it's just proper.
I thought the sort of retro G1 animation was super cool as well. Did you notice that some of the shots are actually a real parallel to the actual G1 cartoon? Like there's a bit where Optimus...
running towards the camera.
Yeah, there's a bit where Optimus looks up at the sky, and it really reminded me of the third part of More Than Meets the Eye.
Yeah, it's even the way his head is drawn in that shot. It's rounder. which is more
Prime,
like the episode. And then you also get the back of Blue Streak.
Is he in there?
Is he in
Yeah, he's in that little sequence where you see some of them floating around in the background shooting.
Oh, that's cool.
There's the guy.
But then they used the kids' voiceovers on top of it, and it was just super cute. And my notes all the way through is it's cute, it's super cute, it's friends. It was just that whole family thing right through to the point where I was welling up quite a lot and all the different family moments. And then we get into the end point, and who pops up? Megatron.
Yeah.
And now, we did talk about him and his alt mode in another episode. He looked so cool, and he arrived with his big dual copter.
We're crossing the streams here a bit because we're talking about our regular podcast as part of Short Circuits. But when we did talk about this alternate mode, Jason, you had your big hater energy on.
I did have big hater.
You didn't like it, the helicopter.
I'd seen the wrong image. That's what it was. It was spectacular.
Were you looking at a GoBot or some other character? Is that what it was?
It was just a very poor photograph of a toy that didn't quite work. But it looked great. So my note was Megatron's entrance is beyond awesome. Yeah. That was my note. And it was proper cool, wasn't it, as it just came down.
You wait till next episode when, of course, he just slaughters all of them. It's quite something.
Well, now I'm like, what
goes absolutely bonkers and just starts killing them.
Well, he's picked up their mum. He's just picked up the mum.
Yeah, he crushes her in the next episode.
No, don't. Let's talk to Warren Johnson stuff.
Even more important than the arrival of Megatron, though, did we all notice the cameo from Spikework Wiki?
Yes, I did.
He's a town.
No, he's not the whole town. He's not Metroplex.
But did you spot him on Bumblebee's shoulder?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
totally.
In his little uniform.
His uniform.
But the wellies. The iconic wellies. They're brown. They're not yellow.
I know. He's just trotting in the mud.
Who was doing this? Where was that attention to detail? One job, guys. One job. The yellow
Maybe that's
wellies.
why he's not around anymore, because he's got brown wellies on instead of his yellow wellies, and they weren't as protected.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Was he wearing his hard hat? I didn't know.
No, there's no hard hat.
That's it then. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead, and they named the town after him. Megatron killed him, and now he's going to kill the mum.
Ghost Spike is just going to haunt everybody in the background. Whoa!
But what did you guys make of the animation in this?
I liked it. I liked the way they used 2D for the effects. You know, they do hand-drawn animated stuff for the effects over the computer stuff, and I thought that was really nice. There was some kind of funky stuff that I thought was quite cool, like the way Optimus Prime's axe pops out, and I just thought the way it lit up, it's different to normal. It's like an actual physical thing, isn't it? Rather than it just like popping out of his hand. But also when it first appears, it makes like a little shing noise, but then there's like a little bicycle bell sound effect. And I must have rewound it about 15 times trying to figure out what it is. I'm like, what's that? It's just here, cha-ching, as it comes out.
That's weird.
I particularly like the way the kids looked and the style of it, very Nickelodeon, but just really nicely done. The bots were, a bit of a Transformers 1 style in the fact that they were very emotive, in the way that it was looking. And particularly Twitch and Thrash, the whole bit where they were hiding behind the stalactite, it was just really cute. Really, really lovely style, actually.
Final question, though. Alan Tudyk as Optimus Prime?
It took me a while when I first watched the series to sort of get behind it. I didn't dislike it, but he sounds a lot like a butler. It's a bit like an Optimus Prime going,
no
hello.
Bad thing. No bad
take
thing.
Your coat, sir. What kind of drink do you want from the bar? That kind of thing.
I didn't actually make the connect. It was him. I didn't realize.
This is his second Transformers role, of course, because he was also in the films where he played Dutch. And he goes absolutely crazy in the bar fight and all of that.
We didn't talk about those films here.
Maybe we will another day.
One day.
One day we'll come back for the Revenge of the Fallen episode, Liam.
Did take me a while to get used to the faceplate, not faceplate. Even just the kind of the way that he looked and stuff like that. It was quite different. His face seemed very big to the size of his helmet.
I feel like of all the designs, Optimus is the biggest adjustment because people are generally on board with Megatron. They're generally on board with a lot of the other robots that we're going to meet. But Optimus is almost the one that people have a bit of a sticking point with.
It is nice to see them move away from him looking exactly like the G1 design again, or just sort of adjusted. It's a very different, it kind of reminds me of animated. There's something about the shapes to it that reminds me of animated, except for the head. The head is a wholly unique beast almost. It really is. Like I say, that it takes a while to sort of look at it and see Optimus Prime. All the elements are there, but it's just the way the shapes are put together. It's really good. It's really interesting.
It is. I also think it comes into its own as the series progresses because as you get to know the character a little bit more, you realise that he's not classic Optimus Prime. He's his own beast and he's kind of adorkable in a weird way. Like he's got this kind of really dorky side to him. And actually then the Alan Tudyk voice makes a lot more sense because it's not trying to be your classic Peter Cullen cowboy Optimus Prime, if you like. It's trying to be something completely different. So I think in the long term it works out really nicely.
Yeah, so I'm excited excited for that because you want something different, don't you? That's it. Yeah. And even just Optimus not being the main star of the show, because to be honest, the star of the show are the kids and Twitch and Thrash for me.
And
that first episode,
yeah,
which is lovely.
So yeah, as a part one, very strong first installment. I'm absolutely not surprised that, as I said earlier, this is a J-Swags winner. I think it's got it written all over it. I think you're going to love part two as well, Jason.
Oh no, I'm going to cry.
You already have, from the sounds of it.
I have, yeah, a lot.
J-Sweps over there, isn't it?
That sounds really bad.
As for the rest of you, can look forward to that next time and see how much Jason balls it.
Jace balls it is totally a different kind of podcast.
No, that's going to stay in, isn't it? And the industry is going to have a lot of fun with that.
Jace balls it.
Jace balls it.
Jace balls.
J-balls.
But if you do want more of this kind of stuff, then you should go onto our regular podcast as well. It's on Spotify, YouTube, and we do have a bit of a Patreon going on as well, where we've got 5 glorious tiers of stuff. You can get access to regular minisodes and miniseries and all kinds of other great bants as well. But otherwise, that's it for Short Circuits today, and we'll catch you for the next one.
I'm a bit tough buff.